Today we're going to be assembling the ProSource Resista Plus display in the new H2O program that we're doing with Carpet One, ProSource, Flooring America, and Floor Trader, and later in the summer we're going to be doing with IDG. But when I get started, going to show you the boxes, your shipment, what it's going to include. Your display shipment will include 4 boxes. The larger box is the main display. It says display wood. Then you'll have a box marked metal components. Then you'll have 2 boxes. One is the larger flat box is graphics, and the smaller, thicker box is the footer. And then samples, you will have 3 boxes of display samples, 2 boxes that are strap sets, and then 1 box, a long flat box that will be a feature plank that attaches to the display. According to the instructions, the only tools you will need will be a 4mm hex key and a cordless power drill. It says it's included in the hardware bag. I couldn't find one, so you might want to have one handy. I just happen to have one. Got this hex key, power drill, and it's always good to have a little rubber mallet to persuade things. Took about 10 minutes to unload all the components of the boxes. Just want to go through with what's in each box. In the flat graphic box is your graphic POP that will go on the header, and your footer is strapped to the graphic. This case is the Resista Plus H2O for ProSource. In the wood box, it contains the risers, 4 risers, 2 connectors, and 2 pieces for the bottom and the back, or the back of the display. You'll notice one piece has some metal inserts. That should be important. And then your metal components, not much, but everything will be needed. And there's also your screw bag is in that. There was another screw bag in the wood box, so there's 2 different, this has like wood dowels and screw covers. And your assembly instructions, you'll find those in the graphic box with the POP header. Okay, we've gone through step 1 and assembled both of the 2 main risers. One thing I do want to point out to you that I learned is that these 2 center parts, you'll notice they have holes down here. You'll need to make sure that those are lined up on the 2 units accordingly, because they're going to be attached in the center with these 2 metal brackets in the next step. Okay, we've got the connectors on the center connecting the 2 stair steps. Your screws are just going to come in through the outside into a little built-in bolt tightener on the inside that's built into the metal piece. You're going to use 6 of these longer black screws with the hex head. Make sure that you've got this flat piece on both pieces pointing towards the outside of the display. Just installed the some brackets. There are 2 on the front here and here. I'm assuming those will help support the footer, and then the back of the display and the graphic panel that goes on the back will be attached to these brackets. So same bolts, the larger black hex bolts used to install these. You're starting to put the footer on, and you're going to use the smaller screws, the little wood screws. I think there's 10 of these. 8 of them will go in these metal brackets that are in the front. If you want to help get everything lined up, make it easier on yourself, kind of do the center screw on each piece. And if you get those lined up and in the holes that are pre-drilled, it should go pretty quick. You shouldn't have to do any drilling into virgin wood. The next step, now that we've got the header, the footer in place, is we're going to attach this center stop bracket, it's called, and the narrow end with the bracket on is the front, and that's going to attach with those holes right there with the same wood screws, and then the other end will be hanging loose, and it will be used to provide support to the back, I'm sure. So this is what it looks like once you get it attached to the footer. We'll move on to the next step now. We're starting to assemble the back, and there are 2 dowel rods. You're gonna, I guess, first thing you need to do is put the, you'll see holes like this. They'll be lined up right across from each other where these cam locks are going to go in. So you'll see, you'll put those in with the, see if you can see that little arrow be pointing in the direction of the hole. So that'll just slide right in there. Don't worry if it doesn't get just lined up just perfectly. If you need to straighten it up a little bit, just take a little flathead screwdriver and get it. All right, so when you've got them all in place, all the cams in there, you're going to take the post and just slide it in to where it sits fully, and then you're going to take your screwdriver and turn it to lock it in place. Okay, you'll also notice that there's 2 wooden dowels that'll go in between the locks, the cam lock and post. So I'm going to lock those in, and then we're going to slide the pieces together to make the back. All right, we've just put the components on there that are going to hold the plank. You will notice that the back of the display has the back of the back panel has these metal inserts on it, so that'll help you know which is front, which is back. We've also applied the there's a support, that little metal U channel that goes down the length of it just about, that is going to provide some support when the thing's standing up. When you assemble it, you'll use the smaller screws that are Phillips head for the 2 brackets that hold the plank, and then in the middle where you attach that U channel to the back, you're going to use the longer Allen screws, the hex head screws. So that should help you a lot. I had to do it twice, so you're welcome. Okay, just installed these hanger brackets. They call for the Phillips head, the smaller Deco Phillips head screws, 2 on each. I was short a screw, but what do? You make do, and I used one of the longer hex head screws on that, because you have to have 2 on this so they will be aligned properly. In order to secure the back to the display, you're going to screw in from the back to these brackets that you added to the display earlier. This is these 2 on the corner, this one that extends all the way to the front, and then the divider at the bottom, and they will just screw in to the back. The holes line up pretty good. This would be a step that is much easier with 2 people, somebody to hold it in place, but I did do it by myself. But it's a little bit of a balancing act. Almost there, guys. Now we are preparing the display to hold the graphics. So you've got those, there's 4 threaded posts. You're just going to screw them in to the back. Don't worry if they're a little tight getting in there. Once you put the graphic on and put the puck or the cap on top of the graphic, you'll have something to get it through a little bit easier. We'll stop and put the graphic on and finish assembling up and show you. We've just about got the last of the display built. This is what I was talking about. You're going to take these little caps. You'll see how they are assembled here. But you just take your cap and put it on there, and then once it's all the way, it'll just screw all the way in until it's flush with the graphic, and the graphics flush with the back of the display, and will tighten itself up. So the structure's built. Now that's how it looks, and this would be a good time to move it into place where you want to have it permanently sit, and you're ready to load the samples. Now that we have the display in place, probably the first thing you want to do is put hang the plank on the display. So you'll find the plank. Simply got a little grommet in there. It's going to keep it from damaging the plank, and it can be removed. Simply just slides here and then down. It's going to go in the guide there. Before you get the samples loaded, you might want to get the strap sets out and go ahead and hang them on the attached hangers. The samples will hang behind their respective decor. This is the 9600s on the right and the 8600s on the left. Okay, there you have it. Display for ProSource Resista Plus H2O complete. The samples were put together according to the planogram. These will be posted on the doc site, so you can grab them. You should already have been emailed them by now, but they are available. One thing, when you're loading the samples, the little metal piece that goes from front to back helps guide the samples, keep them in place, so you just push them all the way to that, and then they kind of fan out accordingly. But a nice display. Overall, the display with one person is going to take about, took me, I stopped and videotape, but it will probably take you about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes to put together by yourself. If you got a helper, I would say you could do it in an hour or less, but good luck, get them up, take no prisoners. Have a good day.